So it's kind of weird at this point in the game for there to be a new skateboarding franchise. The Tony Hawk series has really just kind of dominated that whole area for close to a decade now. EA is back with a game called Skate, and it really seems like they almost went out of their way to develop a game that is as anti-Tony Hawk as a game could possibly get. For starters, it's a more simulation-oriented game with a really natural, organic feeling trick system, and it expands out from there in a really kind of organic and natural way as well. So the neat thing about the trick system in Skate and the controls overall is that it makes really heavy use of the analog sticks. The left stick is basically used to move your body, the right stick moves your board, and the triggers are used for your hands. So what you can do is turn with your body, and you control the right analog stick to do jumps. You'll hold down to crouch and then snap it up really fast for an ollie. If you snap it off to the right or the left, you'll do kick flips and heel flips. If you roll it, you'll do shove-its. So there are a lot of different tricks, and it actually kind of gets in the way in a couple of spots because some tricks are very similar. It's hard to discern one from the other when you're messing around with the analog stick. It can be difficult sometimes. In the end, you're left with a trick system that feels really natural, and you know, there's no grind button in the game or anything like that. To grind, you have to line yourself up with the curb or the rail or whatever you want to hit, skate at it, jump, and make sure that you land on it the right way. And then from there, you can use the right stick to kind of tilt it around and kind of combo into different grinds and stuff. And it's just a really interesting kind of flowing mechanic that really makes it feel different than most other kind of freestyle sports games that are out there. So the catch with the trick system is that the game that's wrapped around that trick system isn't quite as good. You'll have different goals to perform in the career mode and different challenges. And your basic idea is that you want to get to the top of the skateboarding world. So a big part of the game is earning coverage in 2 different skateboarding magazines. And then from there you get invited to the ESPN X Games, you get to do the big mega ramp and all that stuff. And there are a lot of goals along the way as well. The core of what you're going to be doing is getting footage and photos. Photos ask you to do specific tricks on specific objects, or maybe just reach a certain point total while using a specific object in the world, whereas the film sessions are a little trickier because they're a lot more open-ended. The thing with filming is they give you a list of goals that you need to perform within 30 seconds, and then it's up to you to find an area in the city where you can actually do that. You can trigger these film goals kind of wherever, and half the goal is figuring out where you can actually do some of these. You'll also encounter a number of different pro skaters throughout the game, and each one of these pros will have a different specific task for you to accomplish. The difficulty's kind of all over the place. It's kind of weird that the game feels uneven in spots, and some of these pro challenges are probably the toughest spots in the game because they'll ask you to do very specific tricks, and that's where the trick system kind of becomes a little more frustrating than fun, because here you are trying to do a nollie 360 flip down this flight of stairs and hit a grind on the way down, and every time you do it, a different trick is coming out. That can be really frustrating.
This place is all yours, I guess.
Graphically, Skate does look really nice. It has some really excellent animation. These tricks definitely look as they're supposed to look. The game takes place from kind of a weird camera perspective. At the opening of the game, they kind of show you, this kid that's got a video camera that's meant to be following you the whole time. So the whole game has that kind of skate video, guy on a board holding a camera, real low view to it. And it's an interesting look that works out most of the time, but sometimes your skater doesn't turn transparent often enough to give you what's going on, and it can make it really hard to line up some of your rails and things like that. But overall, it is a really nice looking game with good ragdoll physics and all the sort of stuff that you'd expect from a game like this.
Sometimes you get lucky.
The interesting thing about the progression throughout Skate is that at no point does your skater become better at skating. You do get sponsored, and you get to unlock new skateboard decks and wheels and trucks and shoes. You can go buy glasses and wristbands and all kinds of stuff for your guy. But the way you skate at the beginning of the game is the way that you skate at the end. He doesn't become faster or jump higher. There's no statistics. So the only thing that improves is your skill with the game. If you sit there and really practice at it, kind of like real skating, you might eventually get it, and it's kind of neat when it all works out that way. On top of the career mode, there's also an online multiplayer that'll let multiple players get in and play some of the same events that you'll see in the career mode. Kind of the problem with the online is that it doesn't respond to poor connections very well. So if one player joins that has a really bad connection, the whole game gets brought down. And this is a game that is 100% about timing. You need to be able to line up and time your ollies to hit these rails, to hit this stuff. And if the game just slows down at random, it becomes practically unplayable. On top of that, in some areas, they're just trying to cram too many skaters into too small of a space. It's just skaters colliding against each other over and over again, and no one gets to do any good vertical lines because they're just falling over and over again. And that's really annoying as well. The other online side of the game is that you can take screenshots and edit videos of your performances and upload them online. These actually go in two different places. There's a spot in the game where you can go and view these videos, but on top of that, it renders them out and uploads them to a website that EA is hosting, and players that don't even have the game can go and look at these videos and rate them and stuff like that. Overall, Skate is a really solid first attempt, and the trick system is definitely revolutionary in some ways. It's just a shame that it isn't put to better use throughout the game's goals and challenges. It's definitely one that I'd like to see a lot more from in the future, so hopefully this will become a franchise where they can take this really good trick system and expand it into something truly special.